Hello fellow gardeners, if you've ever found yourself wielding a shovel in clay-heavy soil, wrestling with ground so compact it feels more like concrete than earth, you know the frustration we're talking about. Today we're sharing a game-changing approach that taps into something you probably already have in your recycling bin. This guide reveals how cardboard can become your secret weapon for transforming impossible clay into the rich, workable loam every gardener dreams of. Let's dig in. Before we talk solutions, let's understand the problem. Heavy clay soil is one of the most common challenges gardeners face, yet it's often misunderstood. Picture this. After a rainstorm, your garden looks like a swamp. Water sits on top of the soil in puddles, unable to penetrate. Then, a few days later, when the sun returns, that same soil becomes hard as rock, cracking across the surface. This isn't a coincidence. It's clay's defining characteristic. So, the science behind this frustration really comes down to particle size. Clay particles are incredibly small, and, they pack tightly together. When they're wet, they swell up and become slick, which creates poor drainage. And then, when they're dry, they shrink and become dense and impenetrable, leaving plant roots with pretty much nowhere to grow. Traditional solutions often involve heavy equipment, endless tilling, or massive quantities of expensive amendments brought in from outside, approaches that honestly can actually make the problem worse over time by disrupting soil structure further and creating hardpans that trap water deeper underground. Many gardeners end up resorting to raised beds or even complete soil replacement, spending hundreds of dollars and, a considerable amount of effort. While these methods do work, they don't really address the underlying clay soil that remains in place, which means constant upkeep and amendment purchases year after year. What if there was a simpler, more sustainable approach that works with nature instead of against it? Here's where cardboard enters the picture, and this is where things get truly exciting. Plain brown cardboard is a carbon-rich organic material that works like a biological bridge between your compacted clay and healthy soil. When you layer it on your garden bed, you're not just adding material, you're creating an entirely new ecosystem that naturally breaks down clay's denseness. The decomposition process is where the magic happens. As cardboard breaks down over time, it becomes food for billions of beneficial microorganisms and fungi living in your soil. These tiny workers consume the cellulose fibers, transforming them into humus, that dark, crumbly, incredibly fertile matter that gardeners prize. This process doesn't happen overnight, but it creates lasting, fundamental changes to your soil structure that persist for years. Beyond microbes, cardboard attracts earthworms. These incredible creatures just love the dark, moist environment created when cardboard lies on the soil. As worms tunnel through the clay and cardboard layers, they naturally aerate the soil, creating channels for water and air to penetrate. Their castings, essentially their nutrient-rich excrement, further enrich the soil with slowly available nutrients and organic matter. What you're essentially doing is inviting an entire workforce of soil builders to move into your garden and get to work improving your clay. The physical transformation is equally important. The added organic matter and microbial activity create air pockets throughout previously dense clay. Drainage improves dramatically. Plant roots, which were previously stunted and twisted in hard, airless clay, suddenly find space to expand and grow. Additionally, decomposing cardboard acts like a sponge, helping soil retain moisture during dry spells, a genuine paradox since clay's water-holding problem is actually too much retention. Yet, improved structure solves this by allowing water movement. Now that you understand why this works, let's walk through the exact process together. Successful implementation really just requires attention to detail, but honestly, nothing here is complicated or needs any special tools. Begin by selecting the right cardboard. Plain, uncolored, and uncoated brown corrugated or flat cardboard is ideal for this. Before you lay a single sheet, make sure to remove every piece of plastic tape, all labels, and any staples you find. These materials just won't break down and will simply remain as litter in your soil, which we definitely don't want. Avoid heavily printed, glossy, wax-coated, or colored cardboard, since these contain chemicals you really don't want in your garden beds. Grocery stores, appliance shops, and packaging facilities are excellent sources for clean cardboard. Next, prepare your area. If there's existing vegetation, go ahead and mow it down or cut it close to the ground, but resist the urge to till. Tilling disrupts soil structure further and can actually bring clay compaction to new depths, which isn't helpful. The no-dig philosophy is crucial here. You're layering on top, not digging down. Lay your cardboard sheets flat directly on the soil, overlapping the edges by at least 6 inches. These overlaps are essential because they prevent weeds from sneaking through the gaps. If you're dealing with particularly persistent weeds or aggressive root systems, don't hesitate to use 2 layers. Wet the cardboard thoroughly once it's in place. This serves 2 purposes. It prevents the sheets from blowing away in the wind, and it jump-starts the decomposition process immediately. Here comes a critical step that, honestly, a lot of gardeners overlook. You should immediately cover the cardboard with organic matter. Go ahead and layer about 3 to 4 inches of material, like compost, aged grass clippings, shredded leaves, straw, or well-aged manure, right on top. This layer is really transformative because it provides nitrogen to balance out the carbon-heavy cardboard, which actually accelerates decomposition quite a bit. Plus, it creates the perfect habitat for earthworms and microorganisms, and, it improves the aesthetics. A bed of compost just looks way more like a garden than bare cardboard. You have 2 planting options here. Many gardeners prefer to wait several months before planting, giving the cardboard some time to start breaking down. However, if you're eager to get your plants in the ground, you can just cut holes through the cardboard and plant seedlings directly into either the underlying soil or that organic matter layer you added above. Both approaches work well. Really, the choice just depends on your timeline and patience. The soil improvement you get from using cardboard goes way beyond just breaking up clay. This method is actually super efficient at suppressing weeds. The cardboard barrier keeps most weed seeds from ever reaching the soil and germinating, and then, the organic matter layer on top creates pretty hostile conditions for any weeds that might try to pioneer the space. Lots of gardeners report having way fewer weeds in their cardboard-amended beds compared to traditional tilled beds. Plus, moisture retention gets a big boost once this process takes hold. Your clay-heavy soil won't bake into those concrete hard patches during drought anymore. Instead, the improved structure lets water penetrate and move through the profile, so water is available to plants but still drains well enough to prevent waterlogging. This improvement to soil consistency really makes all the difference for healthy plant growth. Erosion protection is another underappreciated benefit. The organic matter layer and decomposing cardboard hold soil in place far more effectively than bare clay, reducing nutrient loss from rain and runoff. Let's set realistic expectations about timing. To accelerate the process, add fresh organic matter layers each year. This continuous feeding of the soil system speeds decomposition and builds progressively richer soil. Over 3 to 5 years of consistent application, even the most stubborn clay transforms into dark, crumbly, living soil that any gardener would be thrilled to plant in. You now have the knowledge to revolutionize your clay soil using nothing more than recycled cardboard and some organic matter. The method is sustainable, affordable, and incredibly effective. Most importantly, it works with nature's own processes rather than against them, creating lasting improvements that benefit your garden season after season. We encourage you to try this method in your own garden. Start with a small bed if you're hesitant, document your results, and watch as your soil transforms. We'd absolutely love to hear about your experience. Comment below with photos of your cardboard project before and after, or share your timeline for seeing improvements. Your success story could inspire countless other gardeners facing the same clay challenges you're overcoming. For more information on sourcing cardboard and calculating how much organic matter you'll need for your specific beds, check the resources in our description. Subscribe to Smart Garden for future guides on related soil improvement topics, and we'll keep you updated as your garden grows and thrives. Happy gardening, and here's to leaving the frustration of clay soil behind.